Today on Beer Scientist, we'll be bottling our batch of Bavarian Hefeweizen. Here we have a Bavarian Hefeweizen. It's fermented for 7 days in the secondary fermenter. Fermentation is pretty much stopped. No more CO2 is being released, so we know that we can safely bottle this batch. What we're going to do now is we're going to transfer this batch from the secondary fermenter into this bottling bucket. So we're going to siphon the batch into this bottling bucket. This bottling bucket has a spigot that allows us to easily and quickly put the batch into bottles. Before we bottle our batch, we need to make a priming sugar bath. Priming sugar bath is simply 2 cups of water, 4.5 ounces of priming sugar, commonly corn sugar. We'll bring the water up to a boil, add in the priming sugar, and let it boil for a minute to make sure it's all dissolved. We'll then take the priming sugar bath, cool it off down to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and then mix it in with our batch right before we bottle. We've brought our water up to a boil. We'll add in our 4.5 ounces of priming sugar, mix it all in, and then let it boil for another minute. Now we're cooling our priming sugar down to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so we can mix it in with our Bavarian Hefeweizen before we bottle our beer. Let's go ahead and get a final gravity for this Bavarian Hefeweizen. This will tell us the alcohol by volume for this batch. Let's take a sample of this batch and then measure the gravity with this hydrometer. Okay, and we can see that our final gravity is right around 1.005, which is fairly close to our expected final gravity. Our priming sugar bath has cooled down to 80 degrees, so we'll go ahead and add it to the bottling bucket. Now when we siphon our batch from our secondary fermenter into the bottling bucket, the siphon will actually mix this priming sugar with our batch, allowing the yeast to actually produce CO2, which will provide our carbonation for our beer. We'll put this 2-piece siphon into our batch, get a few good strokes on it, we've started our siphon. We're siphoning our beer into our bottling bucket. So we'll let this siphon run for about 10 minutes. Our Bavarian Hefeweizen has fully siphoned to our bottling bucket. We'll go ahead and set up our bottling bucket to start filling our bottles with our beer. Here you can see that not only have we siphoned our beer into our bottling bucket, we've also siphoned it away from further sediment that happened during secondary fermentation. So these proteins and other particles that were left in our beer are moved away from our beer, leaving us a very clean, clear beer. We've set up our Bavarian Hefeweizen in the bottling bucket with our bottling tube to help us fill our bottles, 2 cases of clean, sanitized 12-ounce bottles, and a drip pan to help catch any drips that occur during bottling. So all we have to do to fill these bottles is to take a bottle, stick it in the bottling tube, takes a few seconds to fill the bottle all the way up to the brim, and we're done. We can take the bottle out, put it to the side, and we can move on to the next bottle. We filled 50 bottles with our Bavarian Hefeweizen. So all we need to do now is cap these bottles with these metal caps. We'll just press them on, make an airtight lock on the bottle, and then we'll go ahead and let the bottle age in the pantry for 3 weeks. So we'll cap the bottles, put them in the pantry, and let them age and carbonate for 3 weeks. All we have to do to cap the bottle is put the metal cap onto a bottle using this. We use this butterfly bottle capper. We just press on down, and there we have it. We have an airtight seal. So we've finished bottling and capping all 50 bottles. We've put them into the pantry, and we're going to let our Hefeweizen carbonate and age for 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, it'll be fully carbonated, aged, and ready to drink. This has been the bottling of our Bavarian Hefeweizen.